You're listening to The Big Iron Buzz.
Welcome to our latest episode of the Big Iron Buzz, where each week we'll bring to you the latest news and trends in the ag, real estate, and used equipment markets. This podcast is brought to you by Big Iron Auctions and Realty, rural America's premier online unreserved auction site, bringing you rural connections, respected values, and real deals. Hi everyone, I'm Ryan Smith, and I'm the host of the Big Iron Buzz. With me today are Mark Stock and Mark Graham from Big Iron Auctions. We've got our massive harvest auctions coming up on August 19th and 26th, and today we're going to dig in and take a look at some of the incredible equipment we've got here. Mark Graham, you are new to the show, and your Big Iron district covers southwest Iowa and northwest Missouri. Last year, your area suffered devastating floods. Before we begin, can you tell us how farmers in the area have rebounded?
Yeah, sure, Ryan. Yeah, last year was pretty devastating to the farmers in our area. We had millions of acres that were underwater throughout my district along the Missouri River and down through central Missouri. These farmers are very resilient. You know, we had the flood in 2011, which was a 100-year flood, and then 8 years later we had another 100-year flood, which really hurt these guys. But this year there's crops in the field, probably some of the best crops I've seen in years out there on the bottom. They've kept the river low and they're able to get in the fields and work the fields. It really affected us because a lot of these farmers had pulled all their equipment up into higher ground. Fortunately, they didn't lose a lot of equipment. We had a few guys lost some equipment, and we sold some of that flooded equipment earlier on in the year, which amazingly brought very good price. The customers were very happy with what we did for them, the service we provided for them. But overall, everything's starting to rebound, and the folks down along the river and down through Missouri are really starting to grasp on to the service that Big Iron provides to them and the amount of people that we reach. So things are starting to turn around a little bit down here in District 39, and things are looking up for us.
Our annual harvest auctions are coming up August 19th and 26th on BigIron.com. Mark Stock, can you tell listeners why now is such a great time to check out the equipment on BigIron.com?
Well, there's a great selection of inventory being sold. In fact, there's just under 3,000 items selling on the next two sales, and I believe there's 250 plus different sellers. And you've got an opportunity, folks, if you've got a big crop coming in, to get that additional auger or grain cart or semi-truck and grain trailer to help get that harvest out. Or if you want to upgrade combine, now is a great time to do so. In fact, I have been talking to producers that will be buying an extra combine now and an extra corn head. And then in December, they just want to turn right around and sell that machine because they don't want to have a lot of money tied up in a $150,000 to $200,000 used combine sitting there for 10 more months till they could use it again. So we've got people taking a look at all the different inventory that we have. And as always, people are really comfortable with Big Iron and the platform because we provide the owner's name and contact information so they can go inspect the equipment prior to bidding. They can also bid with confidence because every item is sold lien-free. We work with any of the bankers or the lenders out there if there's a seller customer that's got a lien on an item. So we take care of all that, and of course we're transparent with the bid history, which you won't find that on anybody else's auction site. They're not showing any kind of a bid history, so that brings the legitimacy to the table. In fact, I was just talking to some folks that come to our Columbus, Nebraska office from Kansas earlier today, and he's said he's been on all the other sites that do online auctions, and he removed them all from his computer because he doesn't like the fact that he doesn't see any transparency on their platform. So he likes to see that he's bidding against somebody from Illinois or Pennsylvania or Oklahoma. They enjoy that information. And of course, we don't charge a buyer's fee, which takes it over the top for him, so he doesn't have to calculate how much extra he needs to pay for something. But he drove all the way from Kansas to Columbus to meet some family friends, but he said he knew Big Iron was here. He just wanted to come in and talk to us in the Big Iron office, Mark Graham. So that's always nice when you got customers that are satisfied with the experience, and it's great when they explain and share those experiences with us.
Let's take a look at some of the harvest equipment for sale next week. Mark Graham, what do you like here?
You know, the DLL Finance in American Falls, they got some really nice combines and grain heads coming out of there. Intermountain, New Holland, out of Twin Falls, Idaho, and they have a lot of forage harvest items, forage heads, pickup heads, that stuff's looking pretty good. And then we also have some stuff coming out of Louisiana. Now, coming out of my area for this harvest auction, we got approximately about 110 items. We have some construction items coming up. The Haining Farm LLC, they have a real nice excavator coming on. Some late model heads, late model combine coming on from Hainings. You have the Gilbert auction coming up. It's over around Osceola, Iowa. They have a really low hour case skid steer coming up. Those things are looking really good. But overall, out of our whole district, there's quite a few good items. You just have to go in on the 19th and 26th and just put in D39 and search, and you'll be able to see all the items that we have coming up, numerous items, and some very quality items coming too.
And that brings up a great point. When we have a lot of people listening on this site, you can search equipment that's located in an area where you're at. If you put in a zip code or you put in you only want to go 100 miles away, that search functionality on the BigIron website is something really, really unique. But we also want to remind everybody that a lot of the equipment is moving and transporting more than 200 miles. And we've partnered with a great group of people that operate Hitch Pin Logistics. And they can get you a quote prior to the end of the auction, or if you get something bought and you didn't do all the math and make a call for a quote for transporting that item back to your door, get a hold of Hitch Pin Logistics. They do a great job. That's why we partnered up with them. They have great reviews. They are timely, they're very efficient, and they're affordable.
Mark Stock, what's some other harvest equipment that catches your eye?
Well, we've got some Klaus combines selling. We've got that's being sold for Bob Crenshaw Jr. They're in Mississippi, I believe. And then David Lee Bennett Farms. They're from Carlisle, Arkansas. They've got a 7120 four-wheel drive Case IH combine. It's a 2009 model. We've got France Family Farms in Scott City, Kansas. They're selling some equipment this week. But the most important thing about what's going on August 19th and August 21 is we just have a great offering of these 3,000 items, all being represented by the owners. So whether you're looking for a corn head or a flex head or a grain cart or an auger, if you're looking for a header trailers, we have those being sold. If you need specialty equipment, we've even got some monitors and GPS equipment that'll work right in these combines. So check those items out. They're all going to be sold here on the August 19th and August 26th BigIron online sales.
Mark Graham, looking at all equipment, not just harvest equipment, what items do you like on here?
Well, like I said, this is actually probably one of the highlights of our auction, beyond the August 26th auction, is that Case 310, very low-powered machine. We also have several other items on that auction also. Please go in and take a look at that. It's Gilbert Farms auction out of Osceola, Iowa. Coming up also, we have a real nice 2004 Chevy Suburban coming out of Braemar, Missouri on the 19th. Looked pretty clean on that truck. We got a white 8180 16R30 planter coming up out of Lamoni, real clean. Probably one of my favorite is this 2012 New Holland 98D Cornhead in Shenandoah, Iowa, Tri-Tower Farms. Real clean, well taken care of, always shedded pieces of equipment. But some of these guys in this area, they take pride in their equipment. Well, all farmers take pride in their equipment, and they keep them in the sheds and they pull them out and get them cleaned up, get the dust blown off them. We'll take some pictures of them, and they represent very well.
And I just want to mention, too, to that, Corey Anderson's got these collector tractors that are selling in Alta, Iowa. He's got a John Deere D and a John Deere H and a John Deere B, and actually 3 John Deere Bs. He's got a John Deere A. So check out those restored, parade-ready John Deere tractors that are selling right out of Alta, Iowa for Corey Anderson.
Mark Graham, can you tell us about some of the retirement auctions across the country we're hosting on our site next week?
Yeah, you have the C&W Farm Supply Retirement out of Cortland, Kansas. You have Dennis Kressinger Retirement, Sherburne, Minnesota, and Dennis Ninville Estate, New York, Nebraska. Those are 3 real good ones.
Yes, as Mark Graham had just mentioned, Dennis Krissinger is retiring from Sherburne, Minnesota, and he's got a Case IH 7230 mechanical front. Folks, this tractor's got 2,846 hours on the tack. They've also got a 1460 combine. They've got a couple heads that'll fit on that machine. They got a Brent 644 gravity wagon. So check that out. Dennis Neville Estate York, Nebraska. Now, Dennis was in the construction business, but he also farmed, and he has a big ranch over by Burwell, Nebraska. I just know the family personally. They would always come to Husker Harvest Days, and they'd come back in the social room, and they were good people to visit with. In fact, they actually built a couple buildings for us in their construction business, but Dennis passed away, and we're going to be selling their equipment. And it features a Case IH AFX 8010 combine. They also have a 1680 combine. They've got a Case IH 7130 tractor. They got a ditch witch, tilt bed, flatbed trailer. They've just got some nice equipment, folks, and we hope you support the family, Dennis Neville Estate. We've also got C&W Farm Supply. They are retiring. They're from Cortland, Kansas.
You'll always find some great quality construction equipment on BigIron.com. What do you like on next week's auction?
We have a late model Komatsu coming out of Craig, Missouri. It's an older machine, needs a little bit of work, but it's in very good condition.
You bet. Out of Lone Rock, they've got a John Deere 9510. They got a 4650 mechanical front tractor. Several of these gravity wagons. They got a really nice batwing shredder selling for the retirement sale in Lone Rock, Iowa. And the Haley Equipment Company, folks, that sale includes a New Holland T9040 four-wheel drive tractor. Only 2,200 hours on that big bad boy tractor. So if you need a lot of horsepower to pull some big grain carts, or if you want to do some deep tillage right after harvest, take a check and look at that machine out. Plus, Haley Equipment, they've got several Bobcat skid steers that are going to be selling. So support those folks as they have excess equipment that will sell to the highest bidder here with no reserves on the BigIron.com platform.
Along with that, Mark, you're going to find them at Bossa Barba Excavating and Dirt Works out in Bismarck, North Dakota. There's dump trucks, excavators, and a lot more stuff there. Also coming out of Brookings, South Dakota, Bobcat dealership there. You got skid steers, scissor lifts, tractors, many good items coming out of Brookings, South Dakota also.
I want to mention a couple of really nice trucks that are selling out of Bloomfield, Indiana, folks. If you need some Freightliner Cascadias, there's a 2016 and a 2015 model that are selling. The newer one's got 547,000 miles. The 15 model's got 478,000 miles, but they're a match set. If you need some over-the-road trucks, check out those Freightliner Cascadias that are selling next week here on Big Iron.
Mark Stock, I see Mahindra USA has a number of implements and tires up for bid on the August 19th auction. Tell us more here.
You know, Mahindra's just got a lot of these factory overstock items, and they're just putting Big Iron to work selling them. If you've got a Mahindra tractor, these rims will mount right on a Mahindra tractor, or if you just need a set of rubber, you can always take the tires off the rims and put the brand new unused rubber on anything that will fit that size, and you can turn right around and sell the rims off if you don't need them. But they've got a lot of accessories and attachments that are selling. They've got 72-inch mid mowers that'll fit Mahindra Model 1526 tractors. They got backhoes with out buckets that'll fit a Model 2415. They got several models of loaders and buckets which will fit a 565 and the Model Max 24. The loaders will fit models 3535, 4035s, 3540s, and 3640s. So if you need some of those accessories, just type in Mahindra USA in the search box, and you'll be able to find a lot of these extra accessories that will be sold here. We've also got a lot of compact tractors and UTVs that are going to be selling through August 26th up until September 16th. So we've got a great partnership with Mahindra. We've got a lot of great equipment that will be coming through the end of the year. So just keep paying attention to the podcast or watching the BigIron.com website for all of the information on Mahindra. These tractors and these ATVs, folks, they have less than 5 engine hours on them. They're just overstock items, and they're moving them out of their inventory. And they are as new can get if you need a nice tractor or an ATV or some of these accessory items.
I see the South Dakota FFA is hosting their online tire auction on BigIron.com on August 19th. This is an event you've been involved in for several years, Mark Stock. What can you tell us here?
Yeah, we are glad to support South Dakota. Normally we do their sale in conjunction with the Mitchell Farm Show, but due to COVID, that was canceled for this year, as we would do the same thing for Iowa FFA Foundation and Nebraska FFA Foundation during Farm Progress in Boone, Iowa, and Husker Harvest Days in Grand Island, but those have been likewise canceled. So we are doing the virtual online only sales to help support these good organizations. So if you are in need, we encourage you to go to BigIron.com, type in South Dakota FFA in the search box, and then all of this equipment will come up. Now, they always get tires, brand new tires that are donated by Titan Tire, and they will be selling those items. Plus, I believe they've got a toolbox full of John Deere tools from C&B Equipment, the John Deere dealership throughout South Dakota. They've got a 20-gallon electric vertical air compressor that is selling. They've got a couple oil changes from Big E Auto right there in Mitchell, South Dakota. If you are in the market, folks, for some SDSU college gear, I mean, there's a lot of good SDSU fans out there and a lot of listeners here. Check that out. We've got a CAT compact portable generator that was donated, and a lot of these tires, even some forced air heaters that have been donated. It's just a great opportunity, folks, for you to support the South Dakota FFA Foundation, and you give them a check, and in return, you get something back. That's what's nice about it. So we can't thank all the people that have donated the equipment that we'll be selling enough. If you need skid steer tires, if you need a set of 42-inch radial torque tires, Dynatorques, if you need a set of 520, 85R, 42 set of tires, we've got those selling too. If you need some 8-ply farm utility tires, the 9.515 SL tires. If you need some skid steer tires, folks, we've got those in a couple different sizes as well. Go to BigIron.com and support your local FFA Foundation.
Any other items you'd like to add before we sign off?
I'd like to talk a little bit about Mark Graham. And you started out with BigIron in what year?
2010.
2010. You started out as a sales rep.
Independent rep. Yep, and ISR, I sure did. You know, the greatest thing about BigIron is we're offering a service that is second to none. We just go out and just offer the service to the customer, the farmers, the equipment dealers, the construction people. What better way to promote your equipment than to put it online and promote it to the world? The days of the consignment sales, the local auctions, there was a place for all those. Now people are seeing the value that we bring to the table as a company, and the integrity of the company, the integrity of our sales staff, of our customers is second to none. And without that, we would not be where we're at today. I think it's a great honor just to be a part of this company and to work with the local farmers and construction people to offer them something to put money or put extra cash in their pocket to help them move their equipment.
Now, a lot of the people in your neck of the woods are walking around with a yellow 5-gallon bucket. What the heck happened?
Well, I'll tell you what, for some reason we had a surplus of buckets, and we had just recently, a week ago, the Sydney, Iowa rodeo, which they decided to have, and we handed out 200 buckets for each performance. Well, what I didn't realize was there was another rodeo within 40 miles of us, and so I had to give up 200 buckets for that rodeo, and so therefore I fell a little short. But I tell you what, when you walked into that rodeo arena and you saw those yellow buckets all over, people saying, wow, what a great idea. Way to get your name out there. And I tell you what, those people were so appreciative of getting those buckets. It's hard to come by a clean bucket. And it's a lot of these farmers, a clean bucket is worth $1 million because that way they don't have to wash the grease out of them. They can go and feed their cattle or their livestock. Also, we were fortunate at the rodeo. Of course, Miss Sydney, Iowa rodeo, she came by the booth and she says, can I have a bucket? I says, well, sure you can. I said, what are you going to use this bucket for? She goes, I need to water my horse. Well, that was a great opportunity to get a photo with her. And then later on in the week on, I believe it was either Friday night performance or Saturday night, Mrs. United States Agriculture came by, and we got a chance to speak with her a little bit. What a great gal. I happen to know her personally. She actually grew up in the Sydney area, and she came by, and I and Ryan, who was also helped sponsor the rodeo, we got a chance to get a photo with her. Miss Hazelwood, forgive me, I can't remember her last name. I just remember her as a young girl and growing up. but we had a chance to speak with her. So the rodeo was a great opportunity for Big Iron. First time we sponsored anything at that rodeo, and it went over very well. Big Iron branded itself well at that rodeo.
How many reps are you now? Now you're a district manager, and you've been a district manager for how many years? Answer that question first.
This would be my third year at it, Mark. Currently, I have 9 representatives throughout southwest Iowa and northwest Missouri. I'm finding that some of these guys just getting out, and especially in Missouri. Missouri was kind of a breakout state for me last year. When I moved into Missouri, I had 2 reps in Missouri. Now I have 6 reps there and 3 in Iowa now. Once my district changed a little bit, I was down to 2 people throughout the whole region, where I believe I have like 11 counties in Iowa and 25 in Missouri. So last year was a rebuilding year for us as far as getting representatives out in the areas, and it's starting to work well. We had a very good first quarter. Then COVID came, and the state of Missouri was a little bit different than the state of Iowa. It was a little bit different than the state of Nebraska, where it was county by county, and that hurt us pretty bad. But now everything's starting to loosen up, and people are getting out there, and we're starting to get a lot of equipment moving down in those areas. And I'm real proud of how my guys have handled it and how they worked through this COVID.
Now we got to do a shout out to your wife. So let's talk about the wife.
To be honest with you, Mark, my wife was like one of the second Big Iron classes to come through training. She's back in there with Lonnie Corris, I think Dan Ollendorf, who's been around for a long time. And the whole thing was my wife, Teresa, was going to be a Big Iron rep. As Mark knows, my wife she's pretty good at what she does. She actually went to work for a major company, and she says, guess what, Mark? She goes, now you're the Big Iron rep, and I'm going to help you. So,
she does.
Yeah. Yes, she does. She's a very smart and intelligent woman, and she does very well. She's actually kind of a software consultant, I guess, if you want to say that. So she knows her stuff very well. And when I say she can sell ice cream to an Eskimo, I'll tell you what, she could sell ice cream to an Eskimo. There's no doubt in my mind she couldn't. So she's very talented, and I'm lucky to be with her after 38 years.
Hey, that sounds fantastic. That's Mark Graham, folks. He's the district manager. Which district are you servicing?
I'm District 39, which covers southwest Iowa and northwest Missouri.
Fantastic.
That's our show for today, folks. I'd like to thank our guests Mark Stock and Mark Graham, and remind everyone that the equipment mentioned today can all be found on the August 19th and 26th auctions on BigIron.com. For the Big Iron Buzz, I'm Ryan Smith. We'll catch you here next week.